we're talking about maybe, or maybe we should shift the discussion to the economic significance. You're talking about an area where we're setting up a lot of projects. Before we go into the projects and what this area is need, whenever you review concerns by maybe analysts or whatever, it's usually the fact that, are we marketing those? I mean, we're setting up a lot, but are we marketing? I mean, we want to have a strong logistics center, for example, but are we marketing to make sure that once we have the place in order, we want the people to come and actually set up shop? Is this a concern that you think we should be worried about?
I think on the political marketing side, I'll leave that answer to Doctor. Please go ahead.
Of course, I'm not optimistic as you are that optimistic. I have to be, I used to be realistic and to go and to measure the attitude of youth, yes. And the youth attitude in Egypt, or we, range start from age 20 to 35 or 40, how they perceive what is going on or what we are marketing. If we talk about the media and how to market, no, I'm not with what you said that we are marketing it in a good way or delivering it in a good way. Reach the targeted one, or I'll say to reach the targeted investors who seek to investing in Sinai. If we focus, without mentioning any names, but there are just only two well-known Egyptian businessmen who care about Sinai and got mega projects there at Sinai. Those, I won't mention their names in order not to be marketing their work, but they are well known that they are going there. But the role, I'll take the role to the government about the announcement, not only about Sinai, about any project that is taken by the government and how it empowers youth to share and to work there. For example, as the minister said and talked about the solar energy and the wind, to export that. What I like about the minister really said that is talking about in terms of time, the planned time, 2022 will do so, 2030 will do so, and his last long-term plan till 2050. So that means that he got a plan, but the role of media and the marketing that should follow up the implementation of those plans, regardless the person, regardless the minister, and even for the next up minister, for example, the minister that will be at 2022, what will do with those plans and how he will follow or edit or do so and so. So there is a lack in marketing and there is a lack in promotion from the side of the government. And we left it to the youth that control really the trends, the political trends in the Egyptian street nowadays. So we have to focus on that. For example, if we talk about the problem of Tiran and Sanafir and what happened and negotiations, it started because there was a delay to have a formal announcement from the government regarding that announcement, and we left it to the youth or to the political analyst, and I'm against that term, political analyst or activist, I mean. Unless he's talking by science, those people we should empower them to talk. Otherwise, we had a really real debate on all social medias and all private channels and on the daily talk shows program discussing the problem of Tiran and Sanafir. So the same, it's because of the delay of the government. This is an example, and we can measure, and we can measure that on the positive and the negative one.
Mr. Naguib, what do you think is of strategic significance when we talk about the economic development of Sinai? What kind of business do you want to see there, and what kind of business, especially when we talk about the future economic power is Asia, especially when we look at China and this area? What kind of business would be of interest to the future power, because this is what you want to shift to? And it falls within our foreign policy, because our foreign policy now is extremely diversified.
Yes, absolutely. There is a diversification in our foreign policy and a main focus on the economic bilateral and multilateral relations that we have, not just with the West, as we had the past 6 years, but also with the East. And we have seen a lot of visits by the President to countries such as Kazakhstan, Korea, South Korea, Japan, China, India. So he has definitely been focusing on that side of the world. Then we come to the economic significance again of Sinai. We cannot separate it. It's not two separate places. It has the same economic significance as the rest of the country. Considering the fact that we are going through a very difficult economic period in Egypt's history, if we can call it that, very critical in terms of even our approach towards the IMF, our approach towards loans, our approach towards our foreign currency, inflation, unemployment. I mean, all of our micro and macroeconomic indicators are not doing well. And that is the true marketing, as we were asking before. To market the Suez Canal, you have to, or the Suez Canal Regional Development Project, you have to have projects to be able to market, of which we do not have specifically right now. Plans, again, are just plans until they are implemented, and once they are implemented, they have to be done efficiently, and they have to be done with a long-term vision and strategy. And in the meantime, a lot of people have very high expectations that things will, you know, it's a push-button situation when we say we're going to invest $1 billion or $10 billion into a project, that it will be over in a year, like the Suez Canal corridor, but that's a completely different story. The other significance is the Suez Canal Regional Development Project, or the corridor itself, what has been started on an economic level, and the economic level here is that the people of Egypt did not you know, donate money to the Suez Canal corridor. What they actually did was invest in this project. So the first thing that we saw was Egyptians investing into the Suez Canal corridor, and we cannot emulate, we cannot repeat that on a regular basis. So today we really have to look at foreign investors from a different perspective. What it is they want. The minister says that now their supply or their demand for electricity and energy is being met, and being met efficiently. Well, their supply or their demand for foreign currency is not being met at this point, so one without the other won't work. So no matter how much we market it, no matter how much we say that we planned and how much we actually create models of what we're going to do, unless there is real significant growth and change within the macro and microeconomic environment in Egypt, it is a total waste of time. The other thing that people need to understand regarding the Suez Canal that we heard over the past couple of days and maybe in the past year on the significance of its actual revenue growth. Now, I like to look at this from a different perspective. It's not it wasn't a wrong project at all, but it's almost as if opening a, burger shop on the day that somebody, gets infected with mad cow disease. And that's really the significance of how global, the global economy, whatever happens in Egypt. Now, we have a fantastic project, but it's being affected today by the price of the oil around the world, by the depreciation of global trade. All of these things are really impacting. And additionally, that we have global competition in the Panama Canal and different other routes that are now being promoted and being utilized as well by the global shipping industry. So we have to understand that we're part of a global economy, and we have to think of that, and we have to also understand that there is competition. There is major global competition, not just around the world, but within the region itself, within the continent itself, and within the Arab nations around us that do help us, but at the same time we have to understand that there is also a competitive advantage that we have here in Egypt that we are not taking advantage of.
What would you say, if you were to bring it to the attention of those responsible, where is our competitive advantage? What is it that we have to stress on that we can offer that others don't?
There's not much you can really offer, to be honest, unless you start making significant economic reforms. And this is one of the
Is
parts
that not taking place in your opinion?
No, not fast enough, because if it was, then we wouldn't be opting for the IMF loan at this point. The IMF loan is, yes, worth $12 billion. That's what we're aiming at. I usually say these loans, if they come at 1% or 1.5% on their interest, then they're fine, we can take them. It's what comes attached with the IMF loans usually that is the problem with most nations. And that's why we were completely against an IMF loan of 2.6 billion 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And we're still against the principle itself. But what the message the Egyptian government is saying to the world is that we are ready to commit 100% to these austerity measures and economic reforms that will get us out of the financial and economic crisis that we're in. That being said, then why could we have not done it on our own? So it's not the 12 billion themselves that
But
are
don't
the
you
problem.
need the injection? Don't you need the clean bill of health? Because whenever you talk to certain responsible people or officials, they tell you the IMF loan is not just the 12.
Exactly.
It's also a clean bill of health that for the investor not to feel that there is a concern.
Again,
or could we have done it another way?
No, it could have been done another way, and at the same time, it's not a clean bill of health at all, because all it says is that you do have a problem, you are sick, you now have to recover. And that recovery is, if it's not the $12 billion at all, because we've had injections of that amount from our Arab neighbors over the past 3 years. It is, again, how can I explain this? It is maybe seeking the discipline of having an international organization regulate your economic reform under the concept of a $12 billion loan at 1.5%.
Is this what we're doing? Are they
Yes.
regulating? Because whenever you talk about subsidy, it was in the plan and we already started initiating it. The value of the Egyptian pound, we have to be honest with ourselves. We've been protecting it too long.
Yes.
And the time has come to kind of let go. And even though it's painful, but c'est la vie. What kind of reforms do you think that are being imposed by the IMF that do not fall within your economic reform plan?
There's no two people can argue on what we need in terms of economic reform now in Egypt, because history has taught us throughout the decades past of economic change and reform in Eastern Europe, in Southeast Asia, in Latin America. We've seen examples even in Africa. The Arab countries are also other good examples of economic change and reform. Saudi Arabia is embarking on economic reform today. So we know the formula. We know exactly what needs to be done. But what we have been very prudent with in the past 4 to 5 years is the political decision. The political and the social aspect of economic reform, like you were saying, painful. Yes, economic reform is agonizing. There's an agony behind what we need to do. And because we have 48% of our population that lives under the poverty line, it is very difficult for you to discount them when you're looking at economic growth. So you're looking at the balance between that social commitment and that global economic growth that you want to do. So finding that balance is extremely difficult. So alone as a political will, it might be more, how can I say, acceptable to the Egyptian people, knowing that this is a reality that we need to live, and as a political leadership, we won't do it alone. We will have an international community support us in putting the guidelines and really implementing and putting the pressure on us for us to be able to really take these significant changes within our economic perspective and our economic future.
Dr. Wala, maybe I'll ask you, if you were to give advice to those that are right now planning the logistics center in the Suez Canal, where would you ask them to concentrate, since you're a marketing professional and basically we're setting up business there and we need to market it?
We have to market for that it is, there is a security or stability there, and we can control the groups that live there, that it's not like we market that is controlled by